Hi class, in this video we're going to be talking about how to multiply numbers that have decimal values in it. So to multiply this example of 0.16 times 5, my first step is actually to change 0.16 into a whole number or an integer number. In this case, you may have recalled this from elementary school, you may not have, but 0.16, if you multiply that by 10, you basically move the decimal one place to the right. So you actually end up getting 1.6. So if you multiply this answer that you have by 10 again, you simply move the decimal place one more place to the right. So you simply get 16. So what I'm saying is if you multiply a number by 100 then, which is basically multiplying it by 10 twice, you end up getting 16. So in this case, I'm going to multiply my number here by 10 and by 10. And that gets me 16 times 5. Now, we don't know how to do 0.6 times 5, but we do know how to calculate 16 times 5, I would imagine, right? If you don't, you can make a column and use the column method, right? So in this case, with the column method, 5 times 6 is 30. So I get a 0 here, and I add a 3 here. And now 5 times 1 would just be 5, and then I add the 3, so I get 80. So my answer here is going to be 80. And now that can't be my final answer because 0.16 times 5, getting 80, that doesn't make any sense. But notice that I multiplied by 10 twice, right? So after you're done your calculation, however many times you multiplied by 10, you want to divide by 10 the same amount or same number of times. So when I divide something by 10, the opposite happens. Instead of moving the decimal place, which in this case is right here, one place to the right, I move it one place to the left. So now I get 8.0. So now if I have 8.0 and I divide it by 10 again, I end up getting one place to the left, I end up getting 0.8. So my final answer when I take 80 and I divide it by 10 twice is 0.8. So if you want to check on your calculator, 0.16 times 5 is actually 0.8. Okay, let's go over another example. Here I got 2.3 times 0.6. Now, if you remember what I taught you about multiplying by tens, if you simply multiply 2.3 by 10, you're going to get 23 because the decimal place moves one place towards the right here. And if you multiplied 0.6 by 10, the decimal place moves one place to the right, so it's just going to become 6. So now you have to calculate 23 times 6. This one is more tricky to calculate, so let's put that into a column and multiply. 6 times 3 is 18, so I put an 8 here, add a 1 here. 6 times 2 is 12, so now I have 2 here, but then the 2 adds to the 1, so you get a 3, and then there's a 1 that gets carried over, and that 1 just drops down, so I get 138. So I get 138 for my answer, but because I multiplied by 10 once, and then once here, so that's twice, I have to divide by 10 2 times. So in this case, if you remember by dividing, we move the decimal place one place towards the left for how many times we divide by 10. In this case, we divide it 2 times. So my final answer should be 1.38. So if you want to check on a calculator, 2.3 times 0.6 is going to be 1.38. Now let's go over our final example here. So once again, my first rule is to get rid of the decimal by changing these into a whole number. To change 0.35 to a whole number, I have to move the decimal place twice. So I have to multiply by 10 twice. And to change this 0.2 to a 2, I just simply have to multiply by 10 once. So now I'm going to have 35 times 2. In this case, you probably don't have to do column method. 35 times 2 is just doubling 35. So you're essentially just going to get 70. But for the sake of consistency, 2 times 5 is 10. Put a 0 here, add a 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 add a 1 is going to be 7, so I get 70 here. Now, because I multiplied by 10, 1, 2, 3, 3 times, I have to divide my answer of 70 by 10 3 times. So upon doing so, I'm going to move the decimal place, which starts here, 3 places to the left. 1, 2, and then 1 more. So there will be an invisible 0 here, where the decimal is now here. So my final answer should be 0.070. And you can check on a calculator if you want to see if that's true. But I guess you don't need to put the 0, so you can just let your final answer be 0.07 instead.